I move too fast, going man to man, always holding a new hand. Why can't they understand? Sex is irrelevant, just a game in my head I'm playing, and I'm winning. I broke another heart today. And I didn't care, I just walked away. 'Cause they think I love them, but I love them. Yeah. I need another one to get over the other one. Yeah. 'Cause they think I love them, but I love them. Yeah. I need another one to get over the other one. Yeah. They are waiting for my call. They want me to fall. Oh, these men, they miss. Want me like the rest. I'm content not giving my best. They understand. Sex is irrelevant. Just a game in my head I'm playing. And I'm winning. I broke another heart today. I didn't care, I just walked away. 'Cause they think I love them, but I love them. Yeah. I need another one to get over the other one. Yeah. 'Cause they think I love maybe one day I'll settle down, but now I'll just play around when I make a feeling. That's how I feel. When I feel special, then I forget it. Don't want her, I keep it hard and I let it run.
What's going on, Conscious Crew? It is your favorite breakdown commentator, Steve TV. Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. Hope you guys are having a wonderful hump day. You guys already know what we're here to get into, honey. Yes, this is going to be an old nasty piece of open panel. I'm going to be dropping the link because I am so fascinated to know what the ladies, even the fellas, think about something that Shaunie O'Neal stated on the Tamron Hall show, because you guys know we have a lot of conversations over here about relationships and love and, you know, just all of the feel goods and virtues. And we talk about the divorce rate. We talk about interpersonal development. We talk about emotional intelligence and intimacy and all of those good things, honey. So Miss Shaunie done set it up for us to really get into some things, honey. Okay, so I'm gonna try to give y'all an hour's worth of some time today. I'm gonna play the sound bite for those who haven't heard it yet, and then we're gonna get into a little bit of a discussion here. All right. So before we get the popping all the way off, you guys know what I need y'all all to do, honey. Okay, I gotta get back. I gotta get the juices back flowing, honey. I've been out of the social media loop for a minute, girl. Okay, so go ahead and run those thumbs up until they're absolutely stuck. You guys know that thumbing up not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another Conscious crew member and telling them to get their arses into the sanctuary. All right. So whether you are a part of the Replay Gang, you are a Bush baby, or you're actively in these streets with me right now, go ahead and run those thumbs up. Also, share the platform out to wherever it is you have digital community. Make sure that your notifications are set to all. And last but not least, let's go ahead and put you on through. Okay.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, let me go ahead and speak to the Conscious crew in the building. Hey, Lady D, what's going on? Sin. Hey, St. Marquise, what's going on? Keeney. Hey, Carolyn, what's going on? Kiwana. Hey, Mac 8 Track, what's going on? Cali Girl. Hey, y'all. Okay, so I was just scrolling through my algorithm, girl, and I came across the Jasmine brand, who had posted a little soundbite from the Tamron Hall show. You guys know who Tamron Hall is. She is a daytime television host, and she recently had Shaunie O'Neal onto her platform, who spoke about the dynamics of her current relationship to megastar pastor Keion Henderson, who is also going viral as hell right now for hushing a woman in the damn sanctuary. Okay, I got the hiccups, y'all. And she was talking about the dynamics between her current marriage to Keion versus her previous marriage to superstar NBA player Shaquille O'Neal, all right, who also has responded to Shaunie's talking points on the Tamron Hall show, all right? So I'm going to play that in a bit, but let me go ahead and pull up an old nasty piece of visual. Get into some things. Y'all know I like an old nasty piece of visual. Then I'm going to be dropping the link. What's going on, Daniel? Hey, boo. Hey, y'all. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday. Please thumbs up the video for me. I love you all a long time, all right? So this is Shaunie's current husband to the right. And, of course, you all know who her previous husband is to the left. All right, now let me pull up my phone. And I want you guys to listen to Shaunie O'Neal speak on the Tamron Hall show, all right? Check this out.
That I was ever really in love with the man. Made me want to cry. Yeah. But I was in love with the idea of being married to the man I had a family with. I was in love with the idea of building a life together.
Absolutely. I was in love with the partnership that I never got. I didn't experience partnership in a relationship until now. But you know, Shaquille and I have a great relationship now.
Beautiful children.
And beautiful children. I would not change any part of my story. Not one part of my story, no matter how depressed, how sad, how much at the bottom I felt. I would not change one part of it because I feel like my reward is now. Like I am, you know.
Looking back, I don't know that I was ever.
Okay, so that's what she had to say. Now that's enough, girl. You don't want no heat with me, Jolene. What you talking about, Thomas? What the hell you got going on? What you got? What you talking about, Thomas? Hey, y'all. So you guys heard Shaunie O'Neal speak about how she never experienced partnership up until now. That she basically hasn't been in a damn healthy relationship that was, you can't believe why. Okay, explain why you can't believe that, Britannica. I can't believe she said that. Why not? Okay, so she's talking about how she never experienced basically a healthy relationship up until current. Okay, which I find to be very interesting. And to be honest, I'm really not surprised when women say things like this, especially because a lot of like patriarchal ideas are generational, which makes them pervasive and prevalent in the culture. A lot of women under a patriarchy have been more of a utility, have been treated more as an accessory, have been the quintessential helpmate to a man. So of course, it makes perfect sense why a lot of women, regardless of their economic status, regardless of their ethnicity, did not know there was anything wrong, or even maybe even missing, or didn't know exactly what was missing in their dynamics with men until they found an actual man, until they found a man who could and desired true partnership, did not desire a maid, did not look at a woman as a baby making machine, did not look at a woman as an emotional dumpster, did not look at a woman as a catalyst, but looked and could see the humanity in his female counterpart and honor and revere and love that humanity within that female partner. So it seems to me that Shaunie has now, because of her relationship to Keion, who seems to be a much more fitting and healthier partner for her, where she feels she has autonomy, where she feels her influence matters. She feels accounted for at the table. She doesn't feel spoken at or having to go along to get along, but she actually is really a co-pilot. She is equal partner in the cabins, in the captain's chambers, which is a beautiful thing. And she also said something really pivotal prior to that, where she spoke and said that she was in love with the idea of marriage. Here it is. She had this man who was visibly successful, who she had children by, and she was in love with the potential of what that could look like at its highest level. And that's what drove her to work out the marriage, to be married, to further their relationship. Ultimately, that relationship collapsed under the weight of a lot of disparity, infidelity, etc., irreconcilable differences. We all know Shaq went on to continue his bad behavior even up until recently. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Monique Slaughter from Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, you guys know Love is baby mama. She recently sat down on a podcast and she stated that between I think 2012 and 2016, which is where she dated Shaq, that he cheated on her with Hoops and another woman. You guys know Hoops is the winner of the first season of Flavor of Love. Okay. We got, mostly everybody knows that Hoops and Shaq were together. The relationship was pretty public. They were running the red carpets and courtside together. But apparently he was also cheating on Hoops' ass with this other woman. I don't know who she is. And I didn't even know that Shaq and Monique Slaughter also dated for a year. She had no idea that she was even dumped at the time that allegedly he was supposed to be single. I guess he had not sent the damn memo to her mailbox. We all know that Shaunie also experienced infidelity in her marriage to Shaq that played out on the earlier seasons of Basketball Wives with Gloria and Laura, who were sisters on the show. And apparently Laura allegedly had some type of an entanglement with Shaq. It was a lot of kerfuffle over it. Gloria was kind of put in the middle between Shaunie, who she was trying to get to know and was, in the inner circle of the Basketball Wives thing. They were running the same circles together as wives and girlfriends to, these high profile NBA players, but then her sister. And so things, of course, got really messy. It was just a hot mess, girl. So, we know that Shaunie ain't dodged. I mean, she dodged a total bullet. It seems to me that because Shaq went on to double down on his bullshiggity, and his entitlement and his inability to adhere to his covenant, and his faithfulness to his wife that, you know, she wouldn't have been doing herself no damn favors by staying with him. The fact that he went on to also cheat on every other damn woman, from Moniece to Hoops, etc. He was cheating. Girl, how you gonna cheat on the sneaky link? How, bitch? How you cheating, girl, on coleslaw? Girl, how you cheating on every damn body, baby? How you gonna cheat on the damn side piece? So that was a whole mess. All right. Now, what's interesting about this too, baby, because this shit kind of messy. You guys know that we had just reported about a month ago. Was it about a month and a half, 2 months ago? Continue to thumbs up as you're coming into the building, you guys, whether you are a Bush baby in the streets with me right now in the chat, or whether you're part of the replay gang, hit that thumb up, and share. But you guys know that I forgot the young man's name, but he had took to a podcast about 2 months ago and stated that he used to be Shaunie O'Neal's sugar baby and her little cougar jump off. And I guess this was who was keeping her dick down while, you know, she was single, I guess maybe before she met Keion, maybe in the earlier years of her and Keion, you know, when she was just a single woman out there mingling, honey, that, you know, she had her little boy toys on the side. And he claimed that he was hooking up with Shaunie O'Neal, even getting paid. I think he said he got paid, what, $50,000 or $30,000 or $25,000. It was some ridiculous, absurd amount of money to smash her a week before she walked down the aisle with Keion, because she wanted one last hoorah with diabolical dick. Okay, everybody knows that, girl, Christian dick is the most boring dick. So I'm not even mad, baby, at Shaunie O'Neal not being able, falling victim, baby, to the temptation, honey, to hit the cock, to get a shot of cock one more time, baby, to somebody who was going to throw that thing up against the wall, honey, tear it all up, girl, just, you know, thrash her backwards and forwards, honey, just give her toxic dick, honey. You know, Christian men, they want to make love to you in they dress socks, and they just be slipping all in the pussy, honey. You know, it's penny loafer penis. You know, it's button up dick. You know, that's a different type of dick, you know, than worldly dick, honey. Okay, see, sex is when you do all your shadow work at, honey. That's why you can get all nasty and gritty and disrespectful and defile the bedroom. You know, sex is supposed to be where you working out your soul salvation at, baby. Okay, so it's supposed to get all nasty and funky and sweaty and stuff, girl. All right, so allegedly, good. Now, he ain't had no receipts to prove nothing with, okay? He didn't show us no receipts. He didn't show us no cash apps. He didn't show us no PayPal transaction. He didn't show us nothing, girl. What's going on, Pangal? What's going on, Hemi? Y'all know it to be true, T. So, but that was his claim nonetheless. Now, Shaunie O'Neal really didn't respond. So, I mean, she ain't had nothing to say. I don't know whether they was, you know, just getting their Beyonce on to the bullet-ish, or whether there was, you know, some truth somewhere amidst the extremity and over the topness of it all, girl. But it's a lot going on. So obviously her relationship moved forward. Keion Henderson wasn't pressed and bothered. They're married. They're happy. They're doing them now. And I just thought that her conversation about marriage was very fascinating, because we know we're living in the era of millennials where, you know, especially particularly minority women, Black women are divesting. Black women are realizing that they want legacy and can have legacy in other areas of their life, aside from being barefoot and pregnant in a goddamn hot ass kitchen on a summer day for some tired ass, sweaty, oiled up ass man. You know, they realize that they can be boss babes, they can be CEOs, and they can have the same legacies that men can have. Just like men don't have their legacy tied to children, not in the West, they don't. Men have been able to have legacy in all areas, whether it was being a father, being a husband, being an entrepreneur, being a business owner. You know, they've been afforded the opportunity to be seen as something separate from anything attached to anyone else, while women for a long time had their legacy and oftentimes their rights extended to them by way of their marriage to a man under a patriarchy. So hearing Shaunie transition, I want to know how a lot of women in the chat feel. Like, how do a lot of y'all feel about dating potential? A lot of women are combating this idea that Black women should continue to date for potential, because a lot of women are arguing that has never worked out for Black women. Then this is why the standards and the bar has risen for Black women in terms of dating standards. They want a man who's already wrapped up and ready to go, honey. Okay, right off the shelf, bitch, like a Versace robe. This is getting some backlash from Black men who feel like Black women are asking for too much, which I don't think that's the case. I think that Black women are simply, I think that what Black men have an issue with is Black women asking at all. Because once again, men have always controlled relationships, women have always controlled sex. So now that women are taking up creative right to relationships and they're doing the choosing, because they don't live in an era where they have to endure arranged damn marriages, okay? They don't have to live in an era anymore or navigate society through the cosign of a man. Men are pushing against that because their perceived power and ego is now being compromised now that women don't need men, and now that women are also asking for, to me, what is very basic adult fundamental attributes and traits. They want men who are reasonably successful. I'm not mad at that, because women probably know they're going to eventually become pregnant. They're going to have to sit off of a job for a few months toward, the end of their pregnancy. They may have more than one child. And so they want a man who can reasonably hold the fort down when, the children come shooting out. Also, I think this idea of a man being financially well off is a lot more than what men are making it out to be, because men are going to make it about women being gold diggers and shallow. I really think, even if that's the case to some degree, that women are just being superficial and shallow, etc. But I also feel that behind this notion that I want a rich man, I want a six-figure man, I want a man who can be a means and has a means, no more struggle love, as women are saying. I feel like behind this unconsciously, just like men connect big hips, big butt, and voluptuousness to a woman's fertility health, this is kind of like the biological wiring of what's behind men kind of objectifying certain bodily features on women, that this is almost like a primal instinctual thing because of what the brain interprets those body parts to mean, that this is a woman with childbearing hips, she can bear children, have healthy children, etc. I feel like with women who have been groomed and conditioned under a patriarchy, a woman wanting a man to have his own shit really is in accordance for one of patriarchy, because patriarchy says that a man is to be a provider. So I find it funny, for one, that men are objectifying to being the provider when heterosexual men have participated in a system that they were okay with adhering to, aka being the provider, until women declared it, not other men declaring it. And now men got an issue and are trying to pull the reverse psychology and call women gold diggers. No, this is the way y'all have modeled yourselves. Y'all wanted to be the head. Y'all wanted to be the breadwinner. Y'all wanted to be the provider. Therefore, women want your motherfucking ass to provide. But once again, secondly, I feel like behind this unconsciously, women connects a man's intellect and wisdom to his ability to advance money and to establish money and to have a sustainability as it relates to his economy, that on some unconscious level, this translates psychologically and intellectually to a woman that this is a man who can be trusted. Because if he can work his coin and he can sustain coin and he can advance coin, then that says to some degree he knows what he's doing. He understands the system of money, which this entire system capitalistically sits on top of and is made of. And then that encourages a certain level of equity dating wise on that man when he has his economics and his financial shit together. Just like, once again, men equate beauty on a woman to certain things. Once again, her fertility, her virtue, her submissiveness, etc. So both genders and sexes do these things. But going back to the conversation about potential, Shaunie literally is a shining example of a woman who dated for potential and then dated her actual equal. And she's before the community of women saying, bitch, there's a big ass difference. Okay? So all the women preaching, date your equal, date your equal, date your equal, they seem to be onto something. Because Shaunie is making a distinct contrast between dating a man based on fantasy and who he could be versus dating a man who actually is those things. Now, Iyanla always asks a very powerful question to women. I don't know if you guys are a fan of Fix My Life. I know I was, and Iyanla need to bring her ass back. But when it came to marriages, she would always ask the women when their marriages and relationships were in ruins. Did you or did you not date the man for the person, for the promise, or for the penis? Which one of those things influenced your choice in him? Did you date him because of who he is? He's a good man, Savannah, trustworthy, faithful, compassionate, forward-moving, solution-oriented, peaceful, harmonious. Or did you date him for the promise? He was a piece of shit. You knew there were red flags. You had been cheated on in your regular relationship, but yet you still went forward and married his ass and got engaged to his ass and had babies by his ass anyway. So did you marry him? Did you take him ultimately because of the promise? Despite being a fuck nigga, he had promised to do better. He had promised that if you just stuck around, if you just gave him another chance, he would do better and better and better and better. He would give you the world. Let's say he wasn't even a toxic man, but he just sold you the world. Because Shaunie O'Neal admitted she dated for the promise. Or did you date for the penis? He is good in bed, and you didn't have enough wherewithal to distinguish potential from penis. Or lust from love. You conflated lust and love together, like so many women and so many men do, who give their hearts, who roll on down yonder, who move forward in situations with people purely off of superficial ambition and superficial attraction. Oh, they look good, they fine as hell, they turn me on, good coochie, good ping, good this, that, and the third. There's so much sexual attraction and attention. So which one? Did you choose them for? The person? Did you choose them for the promise? Or did you choose them for the penis? I'm going to drop the link because I want you guys to, let's hear Shaunie O'Neal one more time. Okay? And I'm going to drop the link. Moderators, please rotate the link and then I'm going to respond to some of y'all questions too. Hey, Purple Lover. Hey, Boo. Hey, you are. Okay, listen to Shaunie one more time. Because Shaq also responded too. I'll get into it.
That I was ever really in love with the man. Made me want to cry.
Yeah.
But I was in love with the idea of being married to the man I had a family with. I was in love with the idea of building a life together.
Absolutely. I was in love with the partnership that I never got. I didn't experience partnership in a relationship until now. But you know, Shaquille and I have a great relationship
They're
now.
beautiful
We have
children.
and beautiful children. I would not change any part of my story, not one part of my story, no matter how depressed, how sad, how much of at the bottom I felt. I would not change one part of it because I feel like my reward is now. Like I am,
Looking back, I don't know
Okay.
that I was.
Now Shaq responded to Shaunie O'Neal's interview and said, "I understand. I wouldn't have been in love with me either. Wishing you all the best. Heart emoji. All love, Shaq." So Shaq is sending Shaunie light and love, the mother of all his children, the woman who endured his feet, them bad ass feet, baby. Okay, who endured all that gigantuous ass rough sex, honey. I'm surprised that Shaunie don't look like the sex she been through, baby, because I don't know how in the hell. How the hell y'all little ass women be enduring 6'7" tall ass men, honey? Are y'all doing it sideways? Are you always on top? Is his big ass on the top? Are you always having to ride? Can somebody explain to me, girl, how y'all be getting y'all rocks off with these big and then y'all be so little and so dainty and so feminine, girl? Why? Like Shaunie need to look like she got hit by a 18-wheeler and she don't. Okay, but nonetheless, Shaq is affirming that, hey, I was terrible. I was a bad choice. I fucked up. I wouldn't have been in love with my ass either. Okay. So, there it is, girl. Okay. He affirms that he didn't give her ass the promise. He might have had the peen. And she couldn't have dated him for the person he was, because she already said she dated his ass for the fantasy. But another thing Iyanla incorporates in this, the person thing is, Iyanla always says something very profound to women who are struggling with men in their romantic lives. She said women date either who their father is or who they wanted their father to be. So if you had a great dad who was present, etc., that informed who you look for in a man who was just like your wonderful father. If you had an absent daddy, an abusive daddy, then that also is who you looked for, and that's also who you affirmed and was informed by in your dating experience. You either date the man your daddy is, or you dating the man your daddy was. We got Sin in the back. What's going on, Sin?
Hey, Suge, how are
Hey,
you?
I am awesome. How are you?
I'm great. I wasn't gonna, come on, but this topic is so somewhat personal to
Yeah.
me because I've made some of those similar mistakes, and I think look at that conversation and what I'm looking for now in life is so totally different from what I had that I understand where she's coming from. And let me first just put this disclaimer out that to be respectful of Keion, because he is from my hometown of Gary, Indiana. His oldest sister and I went to middle school together, Tawiston Middle School. So, she was always a sweet person to me, and I attended the church that they went to, Tree of Life. So just to kind of just be respectful of that and how the conversation this week got started based on what happened in the church. But I get where Shaunie coming from, because I married for potential and he died and said potential. Now I'm looking for the gift wrapped, everything in place kind of person. I'm 50 years old. I did not marry my father. He was not a great man marriage wise at all. Towards my mother, part of the reason why they're not together now.
Okay, so my question to that is, could that be one of the things that informed you? Because dating your father also means dating the man he was. And if that's who he was, could that have been formed on an unconscious level?
Oh, it most certainly did. And I think my mother's brokenness also kind of pushed that narrative, because her thing was, if you're going to marry outside of your race, make sure you don't work and that everything is taken care of. You don't have to work. But if you're going to marry a black man, it's okay to struggle with him. And that's what she did. And that was by far the biggest lie and mistake that she could have ever pushed off on me. Because I'm part of where I am now and trying to rebuild my life is because I bought into that bullshit. If a woman is marrying, period, and if I had a daughter, I would tell her that. If you're marrying, period, please don't struggle with none of these men. I don't care what the skin color is, the religion is. No, go for the package. I mean, it's because we as black women, we come from a lineage of struggle. Some point, the narrative in our generational curse of that needs to change, because, and I look back at the times of certain shows and things that we've watched over the years, movies,
Go ahead.
like The Help and Mad Men, and what's that movie Julia Roberts was in, where all the girls went to college back in the 40s and 50s just to get a man, and they never finished their education. Their mothers preached that. Their mothers ingrained them with, oh, you marry the best, go to the college and find the one that's going to be the doctor, the engineer, the businessman, the mogul, so he can take care of. But our mothers don't preach that. It's like that struggle thing is getting old. It's like we're trying now. We're finally figuring out that, okay, we've kind of been misled in that. Not that it was an intentional thing, but we're trying to change that narrative because we deserve better. And it's okay, because now we have so much that we're bringing to the table that we can provide the things that we're asking for from them, but still it's nice enough to know that they can do it for us. I mean, I just can't see a lot. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm desiring of marriage again after 12, 13 years, in the last 8 or 9 months, wanting to do it again, because I've never had that soft life. I've never been taken out of my masculine energy at any point in my life. So I'm curious to know what that feels like. And being taken care of, loved, adored, all of that kind of stuff. I get what she's saying, she's getting the prize for everything that she went through. And I, kind of congratulate Shaq for owning up to his mess. And he still loves her. But I do caution that if things ever went left with her and Keion, Shaq gonna be there. Shaq gonna pick up. They might not ever get married or date again, but whatever she need to be whole, he will be that one that's gonna fight for her. And I think it's more than just because they were married and had children. I think genuinely he may still love her. And he's he was thuggish, ruggish bone in a dog sector kind of way back then. And hopefully I hope he finds somebody that he can love, adore, and cherish, and not just a hospice wife situation because he's getting older and that kind of thing. But I think our mothers, because
did you not hear nothing I said?
What?
Saying about Shaq. Shaq cheated on Shaunie and cheated on every other woman after her.
I heard what you said, but
if he wanted to be all that, he had a whole lot of time in Shaunie's life when she was single to be all that.
I know that, but when they were on TV together, he was doing the little stuff to try to woo her back well before she.
Okay, the key word you just said, TV.
Okay, I get you. I hear you. I get you. You're right. I mean, but still, I don't doubt.
What about off TV?
I don't think that he's just, some men can love you, but they're just serial effing cheaters. It just is what it is.
And that's why Shaunie went on by her serial effing business.
And exactly. And and it's for me marrying my.
Because what Shaq won't do, another nigga will.
Most definitely. And I even feel that for my own self. I never wanted to marry my father, but when we ended up moving closer to my parents and subsequently his parents, and he was hanging out with my dad more, and those behaviors started to manifest. At that point, I was through, and I was making, starting to plan my exit, because what you won't do is put me through anything you put Mrs. Mitchell through. I was a whole different chick, and he found out. He found out when I walked away, but I told him, if you get yourself together, you can come on to Georgia and we can do the thing that we should have done, the things we should have done. We kind of let familial issues and everybody getting sick and dying dictate where his next duty station, because it was military, was going to be. And instead of coming here where it would have forced him to level up in his behaviors and everything that he needed to do, when you're around, that kind of common, BS behaviors of the black man of old. And when I say that, I mean our fathers and that kind of generational bullshit that they had going. My husband was easily influenced by that. And like I said, I'm a different chick from my mom and dad. If you look at me, other than the fact that I look like him, you can't say that anything about them that I came from them, because I'm just different. I've always been that way. I'll probably continue to be that way.
Okay,
but
so I got some questions for you. Girl. Okay, so Dreamin', I want to read what Layla and Dreamin' Edmond said, and shout out to Storm, who says that skinny women can take some pain. I mean, clearly. I mean, I don't know how the hell Shaunie O'Neal did it with 7'8" mile long ass Shaq, but shout out to her because she did it again and again and again and had them gigantuous ass children, honey. So she was with the shits. Dreamin' Edmond says, my non-black man treats me like I ish gold. And this is why black women are divesting, honey, because I have heard the long-standing reputation amongst black women dating interracially, honey, is that them white men's, them non-black men's be loving them a long time, honey. And then Layla said right underneath Dreamin' Edmond's post, when I was in grade 3 or 4, as my mom walked me to school, she told me when I am older, marry an Italian man because they are family-oriented, hardworking, and will take great care of their wife. So there's this idea amongst black women that the grass actually is greener on the other side. Now, the only caveat, the only thing I will say to that is I know exactly why that's the case, but I also want black men to hear this because I know what black men going to hear as a result. That, we just ain't shit. It's not that y'all ain't shit. It's just that the system y'all have allowed yourself to participate in has made y'all ain't shit. And as a result, black women have divested and started dating interracially. Now, the other thing about interracial relationships is that it's also been said, too, that a lot of the pedestalization that white men or non-black men put on black women is not out of love. It's out of being fetishized. Now, I always have questions about whether people prefer to be fetishized or love, because the both of them, kind of like lust and love, can look so close together that you may not even be able to tell the difference at first glance, maybe. But seeing that your ethnicity never gonna change, unlike a woman's weight, or a woman's weight can change, even her appearance can change. A lot of other things that are subjective can change, will change. But you're seeing that your ethnicity is not going to change. If that's what's ultimately at the bottom line of the fetishization and the attraction, is it so bad to be fetishized? What do you think, Sin? Because I wanted to ask you, I got a question to ask you after I guess you speak to that. What do you think about so many black women who were actually told by their mothers, don't date black, date you anybody else but a black man, baby, if you want happiness, honey, okay? If you want to survive being a Negro, date another black man. But if you want some sense of happiness and you want to be cherished, etc., you want a healthy marriage, marry non-black. And then what do you think to women who are married and dating non-black and they're having the time, they're living their best dating life?
Well, those mothers took note. I will say that of the struggles that we had just dating our own, and didn't want that for their daughters. They didn't know that, the other side of the coin would be better or not, but they know what our men were conditioned to be back then was just not what they wanted their daughters to go through. And it could have been personal experience that drove that. I don't disagree with what they're saying now. The generation of men, the Keons and the ones that may be like 10 or 15 years younger than him, are starting to be more evolved. Their love isn't coming from a place of struggle or survival, but it's actual love. It is actual adoration. So there are some healthy Black love relationships out there, and I congratulate all of those men and women that do the work to make that so. But we gotta change the narrative. We gotta change the narrative. I don't fault those women. If outside of your race is what's gonna make you happy, do you, boo boo? Because our women, we have upheld our Black men, we have undergirded them, we have prayed over for and through them. We've done. There's nothing else left for us to do. Either they have to do the work, or we have to find other, or make ourselves available to other choices. I mean, I don't necessarily particularly care for the fetish thing, because it's just like having a favorite toy that you get every Christmas. The one Christmas you want a Tonka truck, the next Christmas you want little Elmo doll. So, and once the novelty of it wears off, if you don't have that true love to undergird, you can get thrown away by them just as well as by any other Black man that ain't trying to be about that life with us.
Now now that's interesting that you say that. That's interesting that you say that, saying that you say, you ain't really with the fetishization situation because, it's like that of a new toy. Once that, new toy novelty falls away, honey, then you're bound to end up in the collection bin with all the rest of the toys that used to be favorites too. But what's fascinating about that is it safe to say that there also exists, especially in the dating pod, a money fetish, a physical attraction fetish, because we know that, both men and women, all have their so-called preferences. Are preferences just really a cultural acceptable way of speaking about a fetish? Because a lot of people who have so-called preferences, if their preferences on that individual fade away, they're also going to toss typically their relationship down the tube. If initially you worked out, or your man, you met him, he was physically buff, he was in shape, now he got a dad bod, you ain't got attracted to him, you ain't forking him like that, etc. If a man has a lot of money initially when you met him, now he's going through a off-season phase. We know that 70% of divorce rates in this country were due to financial conflict. So would you say that a lot of what informs the general public as it relates to their dating preferences really are ultimately the same thing? And so it makes the dating pool in general toxic, because we're not really understanding or leading from what it truly means to really love someone, and what standard that should be built upon, what the expectation should be to love someone. How do you know you love someone versus someone who is being preferenced, who's being fetishized, etc. But I want you to sit with that question. Don't let me get away from it, because I want to get some of the other panelists up in her. What's going on, Joshua, who is on everybody's neck, honey, who says white men who date Black women are not alpha men. They are very submissive, which is why the relationship works. So this is what's interesting about Black people dating white folk, is that it seems to be the narrative is the same for both. Black men love white women because white women apparently are more submissive. And Joshua's here saying that Black women date non-black men, particularly white men, for the same reasons, that these men are soft, they're easy, they're submissive. But Dreaming Edmond, girl, she's here to defend her white king, bitch. What's going on, Dreaming? Hey, boo. Baby, you let Joshua ass have it in the chat, honey. Okay, because
because while we talk, hold on. So my man, ethnically, he's Hispanic, but racially, he's white because he's a white Hispanic. I properly feel like I vetted him properly as far as specializations, because I this is my first interracial relationship. Like I never dated somebody before. So this is kind of like one of those. I'm in Texas, but I'm in part of Texas where it's more Hispanic people versus black people, or Afro Latinos or whatever. So I want to say that. Also, I made sure that his dating history, because you can tell a lot by a man by his dating history. Am I your first black girl? Am I your first dark-skinned black girl? And all his girlfriends since he was in freaking middle school have always been black and dark-skinned. And he never, when he compliments me, he never mentions my skin tone. It's not. I've never had a weird feeling like I'm being fetishized. I mean, he could be. I don't know that, but I never had a feeling like I'm being like, oh, I'm like this doll he has now. I never felt like, I feel like I'm a human being. I don't get reminded of our race until we're going outside and people are looking at us all weird. That's the only time I'm really reminded that we're like, two different people from different backgrounds. I wouldn't say this. I don't get into that whole who's an alpha male, who's not an alpha male, because the very black men y'all call alpha male, what they do is sit on podcasts and talk crap about black women all day instead of going after what they really want. Just go after what you want, And as far as I'm not one of those women who divested. So she's like, oh yeah, I think that black men are trash. This is the person I fell in love with. It wasn't nothing.
You just happened to fall in love with somebody who was non-black.
Yes, exactly. It was never one of those I want a mixed kid or I have issues with my dark skin. It's literally just one of those. I met him at the right time, right place, and now he's my boo. It was nothing, political about it. And obviously.
Okay, so I got questions then, Dreaming.
Okay, go ahead.
Because you say that your man, he basically, your poop could be gold as far as he's concerned. Like, have you noticed? Like, so do you think the difference in your treatment with your current mate is there because of race, or is it there because of who he is? Like, why do you think? Because I want to assume that you saying that implies that maybe some of your past dealings with black men have not been this. They ain't been this.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, I have never had a good experience, and I don't crap on black men because of it, but I never had a good experience with black men. I've been in abusive relationships. Last one he was abusive. He treated me like crap no matter how many times I was so nice, whatever. I couldn't do anything right. My current boyfriend, because of the way he treats his family, this is how you know this is how he is for real, or is he just playing a part? He treats his family like they can't do nothing wrong. His mama call him, he's on the road. His daddy call him, he's on the road. His brother, whoever, this is who he is as a person. And that's why I love him so much, because it is not, he don't just treat me special. Everybody gets treated special in his life. I mean, I get a little, more because I'm the woman.
Right.
But like, besides that, there's no such thing as, because, you're my black queen, I'm a worshiper. No, nothing like that. Because I wouldn't be with him, because I don't play that. I think that's weird. I think it's very weird. I don't want you to remind me every single time that I'm black, or that you love black women and you're down for black people. And I don't do wiggers either. He's not one of those. He's not a Hector. Baby, he don't wear chains. He don't say the N word. We don't do none of that stuff around here.
Has he been received well by your family? Like, is everybody cool?
They are. I will say, and this is kind of no tea about this, a little bit tea about my family. My adopted mom, she's very kind of anti-black, to be honest. And I hate that. She's a dark-skinned woman. She's excited because she sees me having a mixed kid, which is why I low-key almost didn't want to go through with my boyfriend, because I'm just like, I don't want to bring a child eventually years down the line and you're having a grandma like that.
Right.
And that's something about, besides that, they've had ignorant comments about him, like, speaking English, because he's from Texas. He speaks Spanish, but he's from Texas. And so he's bilingual. And that type of ignorance that I've seen on their side, but so is his family kind of been ignorant towards me too.
Mm-hmm.
Like my hair, it's like that whole those little trinkets of being in an interracial relationship, trying to understand the different cultures. The young people understand it, but the older people don't.
Okay, so that's what Thomas said. Then what he said, Thomas said, it's a cultural difference, sis. It's not going to work. Well, it's working.
No,
it's working. Thomas.
My boyfriend knows when I'm talking about black issues, you can have an opinion to an extent. So this is about black people. You might want to shut it, but he likes to be educated a lot. Like he likes to understand, like, why does that make you mad? What's colorism? What is that? I never heard that before. How does that affect you? What does that look like for you? Like he's not gonna, go around stomping the ground for me like that. But he definitely understands that you might be a black girlfriend, but does not make you black adjacent. Period.
Yeah. That's a big.
Do not honor a black man because you're with me.
Are you?
And I made that very clear.
Yeah. So you. So that's going to be interesting because obviously as y'all contemplate children, he's going to be he is going to be bringing a mixed race children into the world. You think that how do you foresee y'all navigating that in terms of him also understanding some of the things they may experience as a result of being a mixed race in a racist, anti-black, white worshiping system?
And it's crazy because we literally talked about this yesterday. Like me and him talk about this a lot because I want to have kids like next 3-4 years, whatever. So we already kind of agreed on the fact that at the end of the day, because at first he was kind of hesitant about it because he's like, I don't want my kids to be grown up scared. But I'm like, this is the part. Like, if they depend on what they look like. If they look more black than than white, if they look more white than black, that's how they're gonna be treated in the world. Like you can't try to erase that. You can't try to tiptoe around that. At the end of the day, if they look like me, like the mama, they're gonna get treated a certain way. If they don't have a certain hair texture, they're gonna get treated a certain way. So I told him that diversity is huge for me. I don't want to take my kid to a mixed race kid to an all white school. I don't want to take it to an all black. I want them to be in that really culturally diverse schools as much as I can. You can't control that all the time, but I want them to be exposed to everything. But I also want them to understand at a very young age that people are going to treat you differently based on how you look. People are going to try to call you're not black enough for this, you're not white enough for that. But you cannot let that shake you. And it might hurt your feelings sometimes, but we're going to try to bring in tough-skinned kids because we don't want no Drake kids. We don't want our kids grow up like Drake. We don't want that.
No Drake, baby. No Drake.
A kid with identity issues. I do not need no biracial kid going there saying the N-word, talking about something. I can say it because my mama black, my great grandma looked like this. No, I don't want that.
No bling bling children, honey. No hotline bling children. Period.
No OVO. No, we don't need that.
Okay. Damn, Aubrey says the guy Big Fly. Okay, hold that thought. This is very interesting because I want you to answer the question that I'm gonna ask too. When I double back around.
Okay.
A purple lover. What's going on, boo? Like, what drove you into this conversation?
Well, partly because of the fact that I grew up with family members that look quote unquote white as well. The reality is that Black women are starting to day out, but it's nowhere near the same capacity as Black men that have been dating out. And as far as dealing with the cultural issues that somebody brought up in the comments, the reality is Black women tend to hold on to their culture, identity, more than their Black male counterparts do when they're in interracial relationships. So if a relationship is more likely is going to work with the cultural differences and making sure that that interracial child understands both of their cultures, is going to be with the Black woman in her interracial relationship. And the statistics actually bears that out. And I'm from Generation X. And honey, I wasn't there for struggle love then. I'm not here for it now. I never saw really an issue with anybody dating outside of their race. The only time I ever really had an issue with it is when you're doing it and you need to put your own race down in order to do it.
Yeah.
That's when the issue comes in. When it comes because you're doing it because of a self-hatred issue, then yeah, that's extremely problematic. But the reality is, Shaunie has the right to get what the hell Shaunie deserves. Everybody knows Shaq had community pain in the streets. That is not new information. So I also am very irritated by the fact that when black women want when it's black women turn to be loved, adored, and respected, then all of a sudden the fetish issue comes up. But actually, black men tend to be more fetishized in their relationships than black women are. And let's talk about the elephant that's in the room. Black men also fetishize black women.
Clock it.
They fetishize them with the, well, she's my ride and die. She's a strong black woman. And it never occurs to you that she's strong because she has to be, because she's in survival mode. Not because she's choosing to be strong, but because she has no other choice but to be strong.
Right.
You don't allow, there's a lot of these black men that are saying these things that don't allow their black women to show up any other way. They have to be in the struggle of, they want black women to be in the Build-A-Bear program and look at their potential, all the while with the full intention of never honoring it, that as soon as they can go and get better, they will get better. And heaven forbid she be a dark-skinned black woman. We're not going to talk about the colorism she faced from her own black men.
Clock it.
So, there's certain conversations that people just really don't want to go there with black women on, because while we were being race loyal, you were out here running your little hips to get involved with other communities. Even when you had the opportunity to be in your own, you chose to go outside of it. And then you have the audacity to demand that your woman stay in a community by herself. Because the reality is, it's way more likely, even though there's still plenty of black men who are in the community, when you look at the statistics side by side of black women and black men who date interracially, the numbers are outrageously different when it comes to black women. The reality is, these are the same men that told women to choose better, and the women took their advice and said, okay, you want us to choose better? We're going to choose ourselves, and we're going to choose better people. And when they did that, it wound up not being those men.
Okay, so thank you for that. Can you push back a little bit? Because the McFly guy and Joshua 1997 are giving you some pushback on that not being a fetishization. But I just want to also give them this. The definition of fetishization is a actual interest in an object, a part of the body that is not a sexual organ or a person, as if they are an object. Okay, so.
But you do fetishize. You talk about her body. You talk about her hips. Oh, I hear all the time. Oh, she got childbearing hips. You talk about her skin tone. If she as dark as me, I don't want her. That's not fetishizing women.
And the definition, I just want everybody to be clear about, is it includes the objectification of a human. It's not just sexual. A fetishization, to Perp's point, you can fetishize qualities, you can fetishize an appearance, you can fetishize a lot of things that inform your attraction, your sexual attraction, but it's not always sexual in nature.
Yeah,
even
because other cultural women are being fetishized. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut
the white women and Asian women.
Asian women are being fetishized for their personality traits.
And submissive,
and their submissive nature. Because let's not forget the passport.
They're alleged submissive nature. Because Jimmy Ma is giving a Jeezy a run for his damn money right now. He found out the very interesting way.
And in reality, that's because you don't understand the culture. Because in their culture, there's a lot of things that those women control. Let's not be confused. I can give you the appearance of power and hold all the power the entire time. Women have done it for a very long time, made men think that ideas that didn't belong to them was theirs. It has become a survival skill for women. So we can give the appearance of being submissive and don't, and in actuality, in practice, it's not submissive at all. It's just the appearance of. And the reality, a lot of men are satisfied with just the appearance of things. It doesn't even necessarily have to be true.
Okay, so let's then have a conversation, y'all, about, because, you know, some of the people like Borealis and the McFly guy and Joshua are having a hang up on fetish. And earlier I had asked the panel, I was talking to Sin, and I was saying, you know, when it comes to this fetish thing, or this idea of preference, because I do agree with some of the comments saying like liking a woman's or adoring a woman's qualities, her non-sexual qualities, like her being strength, her being strong-minded, her being strong-willed, her being independent, are not evil in and of itself. And that's not really what we're talking about when we talk about being fetishized. Like, we're talking about the intentional focus and fixation on particular qualities as literal deal breakers or deal makers, not just you know, admiring someone's qualities, but more so like, once again, these qualities have to be what do y'all think about a preference versus a fetish? Is there a difference between being fetish and the things that the culture are calling preferences? Because to Sam's point earlier, like when I was saying, hey, I think we got a money fetish as it relates to the dating scene. Everybody wants somebody with money. Everybody wants somebody who done made it, somebody who coined up. Is that not a objectification of a human being? Because I think the fetish thing can be an interesting way to look at a whole lot of shit that we hide behind the guise of preference. What do you say to that, Dreamin'? Fetish versus preference, one and the same, or?
I think there's levels to it. Like, I think everything has nuance, no matter how you want to put it. I think a preference is simply put as, to me, like I prefer chicken over turkey, but my whole my fetishization would be just pink meat instead of, something like this probably sounds so stupid, but like red meat, like hamburger or pork. Like, I don't like beef or pork. So that's me. I fetishize, I guess, chicken or like bird, basically, over something like a cow, if that makes sense. And if that doesn't make sense, I'm so sorry. But in general, I think that like people prefer the color pink, but some people are super obsessed over pink. Like, it's one thing too. I like pink. I might have a pink backpack just because I want to show you case that I like pink. But it is a whole nother level to it when your whole house is pink. That's when it comes to fetish. Like, those little people on the TikTok or the social medias who have pink homes, pink fridge, like that whole thing, that's a fetish to me. But to just say that I like pink and I might have a pink phone case, that's not a fetish. That's a preference.
Okay. Sin, fetish versus preference. Like if you look at your standards right now for what you're looking for in a mate, and then you dated him according to those standards, and then things change, would your desire for the relationship also change? And would you consider that to have, like, is this the problem with preferences versus love? Because I'm assuming that the reason why we like we use the word love a lot, but then we also intersect it with preferences. And then what's interesting about this particular collaboration between preference and love is that typically when the preference ceases, then the love also ceases as well. So then, is it really love? And are we really narrowing down what love is? So actually, before you answer that, this is what I wanted to ask. This is what I'm gonna go back down the line and ask y'all. What to you, Sin, is love? Like, how do you define, like, how do you know when you love that person? Like, when now it's baby, it's some love shit going on.
When he When I think that he loves me, he
No. Like when you love him, like how do you identify? Like how do you separate love from your lust for the person, love from your preference because, oh, well, I'm loving him because he's good to me. He sings to me. He rubs my feet. He is a great listener. Like, because, okay, hold on. Maybe I got to set this up a lot better. At least for me, I'm going to speak for me. When I think of love, I pretty much think of transcendence, right? That love is achieved when you see the person entirely for their humanity. And like the scriptures say, love covers a multitude of sin. So my desire, because I love you, won't necessarily change because you're overweight now, or you're underweight now, or because you're out of work now, or because you're going through a thing and you're getting on my nerve real bad and you're being disrespectful, you're not being yourself, etc. Like that. When I think of love, I'm thinking about the thing that exists in between the spaces that helps to deal with the times where things aren't necessarily idealistic, where you actually have to employ some compassion, where you have to employ these virtues, because we're talking about people, and people are not ideal. People are not AI. People are not perfect. So, of course, even people who love each other are going to fight. They're going to disagree. They're going to hurt each other unintentionally, sometimes intentionally, to be petty. There's going to be all type of things that are going to happen. But if love isn't there, those problems can eventually corrode altogether the situation, while love allows a situation that's not perfect right now, that's going through a thing right now, to actually still have a chance to be better, because love will compel like both people to actually deal with the issues, find practical solutions to their problems. This is, I guess, why long-term relationships that have actually been through things have actually survived the things and still made it long-term, while still keeping the overall sense of happiness intact. It's not been because, oh, things were perfect. Your grandpa was perfect for me. He had me floating on the cloud. Or your grandma was just an angel the whole damn time. Well, no, there was an out of wedlock child. There was infidelity. We were living out of a shack together at one point in time. Your dad has said some disrespectful shit to me before. We've had very nasty, volatile arguments. Like their relationships usually have gone through a grit that defied the substance of the relationship. So sometimes I get confused in this culture when I'm hearing preference intersect with love, because I'm just like, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that looks like in the interim, that the preferences fall short, because preferences, once again, are typically circumstantial, and in this culture that assigns a lot of superficial, shallow, surfacey things to the love thing, I'm just like, well, what would this love look like if your partner wasn't making money anymore, if y'all couldn't live the high profile lifestyle y'all were living, if your looks change, if thyroids changed them, if a car accident changed them, what if they got into a really bad accident and became mentally disabled? I mean, so many things can happen that can change things. And if you love the person, that's going to be the only thing that's going to keep you committed and also keep you fulfilled, despite things not being idealistic. And I just feel like we don't sit and deal with what love really is. What the fuck is love? Like what is that? And I know we can't define it entirely, because we're talking about something that's very poetic, something that is very transcendent. We talk about love is something that is very multifaceted. It exists in all of the nooks and crannies and nuances of things. We're talking about a really big topic and talking about love, but I feel like we don't talk about it enough, which is why love still ends up as a buzzword, but it also ends up as a very kind of like in this vague category where nobody really defines it. It's just said, and it's just listed down, and it's just what we marry in the name of, is what we have sex in the name of, is what we give birth in the name of, but we really struggle, it seems, to really be able to sit down and contextualize that word. But we're very clear on the preferences. I want a person who bye baby, and if they can't bye, then it's bye. You never want to make it tough. I just want to tell you that I had enough.
Wait,
Sing
can
it.
Might sound crazy, but it ain't no lie. Bye. So so that's what I'm trying to figure out. What is this love shit? What is it?
Can I take a stab at it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, like you said, it's not something you can just say, oh, love looks like this. And I hate when people say, when they talk about how they love somebody, talk about all the services they do for them. They can only list you, I love him because he does this. Or I love her because she does this for me. I don't love my boyfriend because of that. And I always tell them that you don't give me happiness, you always add to my happiness. And I think that's the greatest form of love, is someone who adds to you, period. Not something who does something for you. It's not because he, buys me flowers just because. It's not because he just, he's always asking me, am I okay? It's not because he puts me above. It's not none of that stuff. It's literally just because when I talk to my therapist, I don't have to talk about my relationship. I don't have to complain about my relationship. I don't have to cry. I don't cry about things he's done to me. I cry about things he's do for me, things that he make, how I feel because of our love with everything. I think the best way I can explain it, because I honestly feel like I've never, like you could say I've probably told people I love them before, but I don't think I love them the way, like this is actual, like I don't want to start crying.
Cry, girl. This is the Oprah show, honey. We do tears.
Oh, you need to start crying, honey, because I want to celebrate your love, sweetie, because you deserve it.
It's not. I'm not saying that I got it so easy, because I don't. It's not all we get into arguments, but I think love is what it looks like to me is not just putting yourself above, not just putting people before you, but in the way that it's not like I'm scared of you. It's in a way that I care so much about you that I want to hear what you got to say. I care so much about you that when you're having a bad day, I want to fix it for you. I want to be the reason why you have a good day. Or I want to be the reason why we can figure something out together. It's to the point where, like, if we have any type of disagreement, it doesn't become a screaming match. It's soft. Like, I feel like, I'm gonna cry. I feel like I can be soft. I'm safe.
You can be vulnerable.
Love is
Intimacy.
safe. Love is safe. It doesn't. I don't have to go into this mode of protecting myself. I don't have to go into this mode of trying to protect you from you. I don't have to fix him. I don't feel like I'm on a job and I'm trying to teach him how to treat me. I mean, you do it to an extent, teach people how to treat you, but I don't have to do that constantly. I don't have to. It comes easy to him. So you fall in line with one another. And love is not just being in a relationship. It's just even my friends. I fall in line with my girls. I love them to pieces because I fall in line with them. And I feel like, I guess my whole speech is, you fall in line when you're in love. Not because you're following behind someone, not because you're leading, but because you just kind of step into a cadence with each other. And this understood. What is not said is understood. What is not felt is understood. I don't have to tell you what my favorite order is. I don't have to tell you that I'm having a bad day. You sense it. You don't have to tell me you're having a bad day. And it's equal. It's not, my love is not just, oh, he does all this stuff for me, I do nothing for him. He has it easy too. He's told me, even his family, friends has told me before that I'm probably the best girlfriend he's had. Not because, I'm, independent. That helps too. But also because that I treat him like he is just as much as a king as I am a queen. We understand each other. We don't do screaming matches. We don't go to bed angry. And if I have a problem, he fixes it. If he has a problem, I fix it. We have a plan. And it's not even, and we've only been together for like, I think almost 2 years now, like literally a year and some change now. And I think love is something, like you said, you can't explain. You can try to put a name to it, a label to it, but I just feel like the best thing, I guess I can say again, I keep like I'm repeating myself, is that you fall into it. One, it's a cadence. It's an easy cadence, and it's not a form of worship. It's not a form of just you're in a job. It's literally just something that comes to you, and it stays with you, and it makes you feel like you're on a cloud. And it's not on the cloud because, oh, everything's so easy, but it's a cloud because I know that something something happens, if it storms a little bit, that
Yeah.
eventually we'll fix it together. It'll rain, and the
Yeah.
rain will go away. The clouds
Mhm.
will not become gray anymore, and it'd be fine. And it's not
Mhm.
it's no fairy tale. It's just literally it's just that easy. And I thought people were just lying, like, oh, love should be easy, and it should be to an extent. Not like everything's boom, 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 bam, but more so like
Yeah.
it should be easy so to some
Yeah.
certain extent. It should be easy, and it shouldn't be no
Like if it's
trials and tribulations.
like if it's love and it's healthy, the bad things eventually become good again.
Yes,
Like it gets good again. Like it doesn't stay in that perpetual toxic,
yes,
perpetual secular, dark, dense stuff like that. Like
yeah,
as you said, the sun shines. The sun shines. So like, of course, nothing is idealistic and perfect, but your overall sense of happiness should be overall. There should be an overall sense of happiness in their
absolutely.
relationship.
You
I
want to
like what
bring
you said
peace.
about intimacy and safety. Like you feel safe, you feel like you don't have to protect his ego. He doesn't have to protect yours. Y'all are able to have authentic exchange. Y'all are able to say what y'all need to say to one another. Y'all work towards solutions. Y'all are considerate and mindful of each other's experience of one another.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yes, I like that because once again, it doesn't also remove the fact that, oh yeah, we're gonna get on each other's nerves. Like he gets I'm on his nerve, but we work through things and we know what to do when we get on each other's nerves, and we make space to be on each other's nerves as well. We understand that those things won't define their relationship because we understand that the art of relationship and comes with also knowing how to navigate the shallow issues and the deep issues that come with merging with someone. Every single long term, because I always talk to a lot of elderly couples about, how have y'all done this? How did y'all manifest
Mm-hmm.
this? How have y'all made it 60, 40, 70? How did y'all do this? And they always say compassion, like not giving up on each other, actually like hearing each other. So it seems to be a lot of it does surround like the art of communication. And as long as you have somebody who is willing to like fight for you, like if you just stay in the fight together. Matter of fact, I heard one man tell me in his marriage of 57 years, he said, get over, not get over, but he said, minimize the time y'all spend on the issues and magnify the happiness
Yeah.
y'all have between each other. Don't major in the minor.
Yes.
Minor in the
Absolutely.
minors and major in the joy. And if you continue to prioritize the things that put a smile on y'all face, the things that make y'all happy, if y'all continue to prioritize y'all strengths, your
Mm-hmm.
relationships can endure. He said a lot of young people, they don't have the capacity, they don't have patience, they don't have the capacity to move their egos out of the way. So it makes them major in the minor things. It makes them exploit the things that, yes, we got to address this, we got to deal with this, but it doesn't need to linger. And once we've come
Yes.
to an agreement and we've come to a resolve, long as we commit to the resolve, we need to move on to
Yes.
get back to the good. It's not about pausing that frame right here and then just staying locked into that picture for a damn year. And we're arguing about the same shit. And so yeah, totally. Okay, hold that thought. A
So
dreaming sin, take a stab at it, because I know I was going to ask you earlier, like what, like love. How do you you love a man?
Number one, and I'm speaking purely from a more adult perspective. You're 50 and older kind of love, that whether it's new for you or you've been in it in this season and weathered the storms. For me, it's when I know when I say I love you, because I'm going to go to the Father on your behalf. I said once that you're in love with someone when your relationship feels like vacation and that person feels like home. That whatever goes on in the outside, you you're at your highest self when you're with that person. It makes you want to be better, do better. It's transformative. It's a lockstep, like the young lady Dreaming was talking about. You're gonna try to, outdo yourself in how much you love this person, or even try to outdo them. You're gonna find yourself that they're gonna be the reason, and you're going to be okay with it, your reason for existing, for doing what you do, for striving for the best. They're going to encourage you. Yes, you're going to have moments of contention, but you don't stay there. You recognize that the common enemy is not each other, but whatever the situation that you're fighting.
That's important.
Yeah, you keep it in mind that it's you all against the world and not against each other. And I think that's important because, can we be used by the enemy or fuck up or do something stupid or whatever? Yeah, we're human, but you got to know how to navigate those waters strategically. Still got to love them through it. Now, your initial question was fetish or preference. Sometimes our preferences are fetishes when we get them and find out they no longer serve us for whatever the reasons. But your preferences are your preferences. Those are the things that far as you're drawn to. You don't know that you don't like it until it stops nourishing you in the ways of love and lust, or whatever, however you want to put it. But for me, I'm looking for that transformative love. I don't have time for the games. And for me, it looks like you taking me out of my masculine energy. I was sitting there having a conversation. That's why I think I jumped on this live today, because this conversation I was just having upstairs with my friend. And I was telling her, you know what? For me, a preference in something that I will double down on. If you say that you love me, and whenever we're together, and physical touch is one of my love languages, there should never be a doorknob, a handle, a gas nozzle, or nothing when I'm in your presence I should ever touch. And if you come at me saying that I will never have to touch, I'm holding you to that. That means when I'm in your presence, when we are together, you're opening doors, you're gassing up the cars, you're doing this, you're doing that, whatnot and what have you. And I want to know what that feels like. I've never been, even if I'm upset with you, I'm still like, thank you, baby, for opening the door. Thanks, I appreciate that. Even though if I'm pissed at something, but even in my passivity, because I'm known to, I'm fine, and shut down. I love you enough that I'm like, hey, babe, I think you mishandled me in this moment. And know how to be strategic in it, not what I'm blaming, but maybe it's my fault I didn't show up in the way that I should. But just so that hurt me, or that rubbed me the wrong way, and I would like for us to discuss it, not yelling back and forth and trying to one up and listening to respond and all that stupid shit, but loving enough to hear what I'm saying, hear me and see me. And once you realize the wrong that you played a part in it, and not even being accusatory with one another, but just each other having accountability and owning up to their parts in it, make the necessary corrections. That's what it looks like to me at this stage in my life.
Okay. Come on. Perp. Love. What is love to you versus egotism or preference or fetish? Or how do you know when you have hit the love phenomenon? And what does that look like for you when you love someone?
It's being able to fully show up as your authentic self, your true soul self with the person. You see them and they see you, and you're committed to working towards goals with one another. That no matter what's going on, that we're able to come back as a couple and to work through whatever it is. We're making a commitment to say, no matter what's going on, at the end of the day, I'm still going to choose you. And I'm fully committed into this relationship till the final breath. That's what that looks like. That means that, when I'm not just going to love your shiny parts, I'm going to love the not so shiny parts, your shadow self. We're going to be able to have those vulnerable moments when something's going on, being excited to come to you and being to share my heart and my thoughts and feelings about things. Just being able to truly, for each other, show up as our authentic selves. One of my favorite quotes was from Susan Sarandon in a movie one time, and she was saying to her partner in that movie, "I see you," and she was talking about she sees the entirety of him, not just as a physical being, but spiritual being, everything. She completely saw him. And that's what it truly is. And when you find that, um, if you're smart, you do not waste that. You take care of it and you nurture it because it's an extremely rare thing. I have watched really successful marriages. I was fortunate to be around successful marriages. Um, my parents went through their stuff. They went through a lot of crap, and there was times where it was extremely toxic. But I also got to see marriages that were completely healthy and how those marriages interacted. And we're not talking about a little tiny bit of time. Like one of the marriages, they were married longer than some people have been alive. They were married for like 60 years. My aunt and uncle now, they're well into their 90s and, and still going strong. And it's a commitment. It's the commitment to say, I'm showing up for you. I'm showing up for our family. One of the things I admire about my daughter and her boyfriend relationship, they are committed to showing up for each other and their child. They can argue, but when they're arguing with each other or they're frustrated with each other, it's never um, a it's never an enemy type argument. It's just, I didn't like you did this, and you know they work through it and they move on. Because I was actually surprised. My sister had made the comment the other night that she admires how my daughter boyfriend treats my mother, and she was noticing how healthy their interaction with one another is, their relationship. She was like, I just don't understand why they don't get married. She was like, because she was like, I've learned so much from just watching the two of them interact because they act like an old married couple. So I got to see all types of different relationships where it's in the very young stage and it's blossoming because my daughter and her boyfriend have been together for an extremely long time. And I got to see marriages from being the daughter of one and for seeing other family members have really good marriages. So I was fortunate to see all of that. And like you said, it's about showing up and showing compassion, recognizing each other's humanity, and being willing to be fully committed no matter what. That we're going to be in this thing together. Like you said, it's us against the world. And you never treat your partner like you're at war with each other. I'm an Aries. I don't need to be at war with my partner. There's a plenty of places where I can put that warring energy into. I shouldn't have to do it with my partner.
Yeah.
And I won't do it with my partner.
Okay, so put a pause in right there because that's a beautiful sentiment. Now, Thomas said something interesting. Thomas said on the screen here, accept me flaws and all. Can we talk a little bit about that, y'all? Because, baby, some of these flaws y'all be wanting people to accept. Baby, send me the divorce papers.
Look, even Jesus would have wept.
Can we talk a little bit about that? Like what does that look like in love as well? Because obviously, I mean, you know, the whole flaws conversation is a very nuanced conversation, you know, because we know that some people have some traits that absolutely should not be tolerated by any human being. What is y'all's ratio? If y'all can, briefly, when it comes to the flaw conversation or the love conversation. I also want to make this distinction too to set this up a lot better. I think it's also important when we talk about love that we also don't conflate love with relationship. I know, at least for me, to be the recipient of my love does not necessarily require us to be in romantic relationship or to be in relationship together. However, to be in relationship to me as somebody that love you definitely comes with standards. It comes with a certain level. It comes with certain rules and agreed upon expectations. I used to tell my twin flame this all the time, that you take me for granted because you think because I love you, I won't leave your motherfucking ass. And I want to tell you that I will never, probably not ever not love you, but I damn sure get to determine if we're in relationship together. I don't get to decide if I love you or not, because I didn't make the choice to love you to begin with. I just love you. But I am very clear about the fact that I get to decide if I'm with you because I love you. And he was a man who is littered with flaws. He's a cheater. He's a narcissist. Typical abuser, manipulator, short attention span, great ideals, very smart, very much so intellectual, very fun. These were all the things that initially made me interested in a relationship to him. But it was his perceivable flaws that I just could not continue to endure in the relationship. And he has been pretty committed to not wanting to heal those damn flaws. So what type of flaws would y'all say like are acceptable? Where is the line between, okay, yes, love does make total space for a person's humanity, and because we don't have to be in a romantic relationship to people, we can still even reasonably stay in a relationship to two people we love who are toxic, even if we have to do that from a long-handled spoon, from afar. You can still have some adjacency because love will allow you to shine that love upon them, even if you have to control your personal proximity, etc. But I do need us to understand that just because we really, really, really love somebody does not mean that we have to be in a relationship, and doesn't mean that we should be in a relationship with that person if they are destructive and detrimental to their own health and are being that directly or indirectly to yours. But also in the conversation of flaws, because we know that there's a lot of women right now who are in relationships to men who are abusive, and they have so-called accepted that because they look at other parts of the man. Well, you know, he's outside of when he's upside my head, he's kind, he's a great father, he's so romantic, he listens to me, he does have a hands on me issue, but he has 50 million 11 great qualities. So because people get into rationalizing all type of things, even things that can be considered incredibly toxic, like how was y'all's relationship to understanding the flaw thing and the love thing and the deal breaker thing, the non-deal breaker thing? I'm gonna go to Dreaming for that question.
Ooh, child, I'm glad you said that. When I kept seeing those comments, I was just like, "Oh, baby, there's conditions." There are conditions over here, babe. For me, I'm trying to figure out how I want to answer this. Make sure I'm trying to be articulate as possible. Okay, so I think for me, firstly, going off with flaws and what are do we accept people for who they are and say, "Oh, it is what it is"? No, Because there's conditions to everything. It should be, your love should be conditional, your relationship should be conditional, your friendship should be conditional, because you don't want to be abused. It's how we avoid, you can't really avoid abuse all the time, but it's how we try to avoid abusive relationships, whether it's emotionally, verbally, whatever, and being used and feeling like, all this. Okay. Anyways, so yes, I do not agree with the whole notion of that, oh, you should accept people flaws and all, because like you said, there are so many flaws that we all have that no one should have to deal with, because that causes more trauma to other people that we don't realize we're doing to other people until like later, like, dang, I probably should never, I should have been by myself. Like for me, it's for to kind of keep it brief, me myself, I was single for 3 years. And this is not, and I was by myself, not even just single as in relationship, single as in friendship, single as in Marilyn was by herself trying to deal with herself.
Oh, you was a nomad.
I'm talking about, I moved to Texas and nobody knew I moved here, because I had so many issues, because I was post-military, to deal with what happened there. And I was 23, just got an abusive relationship, trying to find, who is Marilyn? Who is she? Now I'm 25, about between 6, and I'm kind of like, okay, I kind of figured out who she is now. But I took time to try to be there, because I was that friend who was in and out your life. I'll talk to you some days, and some in months you won't even hear from me. And I couldn't keep doing that to people. So I told my friends, who at least I wanted them to understand, the ones who could, and I could understand if you can't, that I just need time to go to myself, because I had PTSD, bad anxiety. It was really bad, like suicidal. It was bad, right? So I didn't want to put that on people, but people have a tendency to do that anyways. People have issues with anger, and they think that their friends have to deal with that. Your friends don't have to deal with you being angry all the time. You need to go deal with yourself. And a lot of people don't want to deal with that, which is why people should have conditions, because there's no reason why you should accept that from your family member, your friend, or anybody. And that's why I don't understand this whole accept me who I am, flaws and all. I have issue with money management, but accept me anyways. I have daddy issues that I don't want to accept. I have mommy issues I want to accept. And I can't tell you about friends who, watching them make bad decisions because of stuff they don't want to deal with for themselves, being that friend to outside looking in, watching them making bad decision after bad decision because they have issues they don't want to deal with. It's hard. And you, again, cause trauma for other people because you won't deal with yourself. So I'm one of those people that, and now I'm almost 26. At this point, you have issues that you don't deal with. You don't actively deal with them. I can't have you in my life, because I can't take that. I can't deal with that. That's too traumatizing for me to deal with. So that's my condition. And what was other part of your question? Make sure I'm trying to cover everything.
I'm sorry. I was like, child, shoot, let me see. Because I went all around the mulberry bush with my question. I want to say, I think you answered it. Like, I think you answered it. Yeah, because we was just talking, I was just asking, like, what is your ratio, like, when it comes to the flaw? Okay, so then, with like what you're saying, so then, like, if you met a man who, like, was terrible with money, but, oh, he was so good with everything else. Oh, he's such a great guy, but baby, that money situation, the man can blow through some money. He don't manage his money well. He can make it, but he do not manage it well at all. Like, that would be a deal breaker for you. That would be like a yeah, boo. Or it would, because some people rationalize that, like, well, okay, I'll be the muscle there. I will manage our finances since you seem to be weak in the financial. Or does it have to be like more than one big flaw, or depending on what the flaw is can determine, like, whether you're going to entertain the relationship or not? Or do you require, like, no, you need to get these areas together, and hey, if I'm still on the market by the time you finish doing your work, then cool, we can get at it, but you need to get this stuff together up over her.
Okay, so I can there's, like you said, there's nuances of things. If you have poor money management and you're open, this is where my whole condition comes into play. If you're open to receiving help, or you're open to changing that situation, you're like, okay, I want to take a class, or okay, what do you suggest I do? Or okay, I'm going to go talk to a financial manager. I can accept that then, because you're actively working to fix that situation, that little flaw you have. because it is fixable depending on how down the hole you are. If you're really down bad, I can probably help you get up from there. But it depends on where I am in my life. Am I eligible to do that? Am I financially stable to hold us down till you get that figured out? That's totally different. But I think that my condition would be, are you willing to get help to fix the situation? And how bad are you into the situation? Are you willing to be honest about, okay, this is how far I'm into it. I'm willing to come to a financial manager. We can talk about it, we can get educated, and we can fix that. Then that's different. But if you're on some whole, I got poor money management, you can't tell me what I'm gonna do about my money. It's my money. I'm gonna let you my money yourself over there.
Okay. On period.
On period. That's every flaw. I don't care what the flaw is. Whether it's insecure, I think there's dangerous flaws to deal with. People with anger issues, people who have severe insecurity issues. Those are things I don't accept. So I can't deal with a man, because those relationships I've been in, whether it was a friend or a man, or like a man I was dating who had those issues, I was the victim of those situations, as far as like getting the bad end of the stick, because I'm trying to help you stop being angry. I'm trying to help you deal with your problems, and you're taking your anger out on me. You're hitting me. You're yelling at me. You're taking that out on me. And that's what I can't accept. The insecurity stuff too, because those are dangerous people to deal with. Very dangerous people to deal with.
Got it. Okay. All right. Seeing flaws. How far is that going to go for you in terms of dealing with a ninja's flaws?
A ninja's flaws, number one, I agree with what they were saying early, is not where you're going to be disrespecting me. We're not having none of that under no circumstances. Now, because you're human, if your flaw is you eat cookies in bed, you maybe
you leave the toilet seat up.
You tend to run late. Things that make you human, that
minor things,
part of your humanity, but doesn't make you a bad person. Yes, I'm all for accepting, as long as they don't disrespect me. As long as they don't negate what we got going on, as long as it doesn't it hinder our progress.
Right. It's not abusive in nature.
Exactly, that it's not abusive. That you may have a flaw that you cook on the stove and you clean up the kitchen, but you don't sweep the floor. To me, that's not a clean kitchen. But that's
you don't put your things away. You use stuff and don't put nothing back in its place.
And that do you open because you should know better. If you're vibrating at your higher self. But like I said, those are things of humanity. You've probably always been that way, or, it doesn't matter to you. It's the things that affect growth and maturation for us as a couple is what I cannot tolerate.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not necessarily a flaw. That's something going on in your character you need to be working out.
Okay, so let's raise that. Okay, so let's up the ante here. So, because it's tier levels to this love thing. You got like love that can, it can resolve anything from, as you said, a man who simply just has, a time issue. He always late, or he don't clean up after himself, or he got skid marks in his drawers, stuff like that. But then there are these other things that maybe some people will argue as a flaw. Some people argue as a mistake, such as infidelity. Do you think that there can be one-offs when it comes to really effed up things that happen in relationships, such as, for instance, physical abuse? We have heard people say, hey, if a man puts his hands on you once, done. There have been people who are saying, hey, if your partner cheats on you once, always a cheater. In reality, we also know people have been reformed. We know that there actually have been one-off moments. We know that people have cheated and then took accountability, put things in place to never perpetuate that behavior again. We know that when it comes to abuse as well, that that behavior was checked, resolved, happened. That person found another way to deal with their anger or understood what the consequences would be. if that behavior was to be replicated again, and cease and desisted that behavior. What do you think about people who have called those things mistakes? Like, oh, he cheated, but that was a mistake. We,
Okay.
moved on from it.
Okay. Now understand, there are a couple things I need to disclaim. Number one, my brother is a product of said behavior. And my father kept doing it. He's a serial cheater. That mean that we don't love the guy or me because he didn't have a relationship with him. But that's something that was really effed up in this character. Number two, physical abuse. I don't care what side it's coming from, him, her, hell, whatever. Is never. Even the one time is one time too many. That means there was no level of respect in the love that you said you had for me, where you will become violent with me. I'm a sexual assault nurse examiner. That is a hell to the no, no, no. That you get away, because I don't care how much they apologize or whatever, and it may not happen again. But are you going to risk your life and limb to see if that's going to play out, or are you going to get away and let them deal with whatever they have to deal with?
Okay,
But
so hold on. Okay, now pause, because this is huh?
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
because
at this point, from a professional standpoint, I've never seen a situation, and I've had them same physical abusers in my family, that they did it once and didn't do it again. The only time that happened is if that woman had just as much gunk in the relationship physically, where she put that hot grease and grits on his ass and scalded him as a nice little reminder that what you won't do is this, because I'm gonna come at you worse, and I may kill you before you kill me. Now, does it make it right? I mean, I understand that comes under that survival struggle love shit. And no, it's just not okay. That's not that's more than just a flaw to accept. That you got some jacked up character. Period. And let's
but
just
okay,
call
because that's why I find the deeper and more nuanced conversations around love to be so fascinating, because we get into hard hitting stuff like this. So then, what? Because I'm sure the people in the chat, or the people in the world who have been cheated on before, or have been physically hit or emotionally abused in their relationship or something, like would probably contest that if they felt if they ended up on the other side of things and things worked out, etc. um because it like because you said, like, are you going to stick around to find out? Because what's going to, because I'm assuming that what's going to then play out in that person's mind is, yeah, but am I also going to throw away somebody who I know loves me and I love them, and not give them the opportunity to do it differently? Am I going to throw them away because of this thing here,
I've
when it's possible that they may never do this again, and I'm going to cast that out?
But like I said, or was trying to say, I've never
Mhm.
seen in a situation, unless she got him good enough to break that in his character. I've never seen him do it once and not do it again. And
So
like I said,
what would
are
you
you
say?
willing to risk life and limb to see if that's going to happen?
So what would you say to the people who have had those as a one-off, who have seen the other side, who stayed, who gave their partner the second chance?
And they get,
And
was it successful? No, but if it was successful, then that one off, just be mine. I would still say proceed with caution, love who you're gonna love. But take heed to those red flags that lead up to that, because understand, people just don't call off and hit you. It's things that we've missed along the way. Know what those nuances are so you can protect yourself. Like I wrote in, and I was telling you about, I can't talk too loud because she's right above me, but my niece, in her life lessons, in her
yeah.
graduation letter, one of them is, hey, If something smells rotten in Denmark, cast it out. Get rid of it. Don't waste your time and talent trying to fix it this day and age, because that's something that's God. I always say that's God's business. That's not for me to fix. That's for you, your therapist, the God you serve. I mean, because clearly there is a flaw in your character. There's something generational in your DNA for you to want to go and put your hands on me in a supposed loving relationship because you pissed off about something. No, no. You're woefully underdeveloped in your emotions for if that's what's leading you to do that. Something is wrong there that I can't correct, and I'm not going to stick around to try to help you through that. No, that I can't sacrifice me. I love me enough first to know that this is not what I want and this is not what I'm going to allow. Because even though my father wasn't physically abusive, my mother allowed that constant serial cheating and disrespect. So, you know, you get what you get with it. Not
Yeah.
saying that it was right, but it's what we as women allow to. They,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
like I said, if they're yelling, and we know what escalation looks like. They're alienating us from friends and family. It's one thing to love me and want me to yourself. Another thing to want me and then not share me with the others that love and respect me, and alienating me to the point where it has to be you are the wanting to be the orbit of my world. No, fuck that, because that already right there telling me that you're setting me up for something that's not going to be good for me and not good for this relationship, period.
Okay. So, all right. We got a, 5 minutes left. I'm gonna get a perp in here. I completely understand that. Um I always tell people. I mean, I don't know what to tell a person when it comes to a situation like. I'm gonna be honest. My knee-jerk reaction is the same. Like, obviously, like, you do need to leave in the moment, but when it comes to the conversation around, do you overlook this? Do you extend grace? At best, I'm always on some proceed with caution, but I think that really also comes with my like very Christian conditioning to always believe that people are capable and have the capacity to change and to reform themselves, etc. I also find the conversation when it comes to physical violence to be super nuanced too, because we also don't put the same weight on emotional and verbal abuse. And I remember doing a show about a month or two ago where it pretty much did a statistical run and a survey and found that pretty much men perpetuate more physical DV and women perpetuate more emotional and verbal DV. And so you just have like abuse
I get what you
being personified through like different weapons. Like a man will use his fist, while a woman may use her mind. She may use her cleverness. She may use her words as a way to chastise or to emasculate or to humiliate, etc. I will say for me, I don't put up with physical abuse in relationships because I am going to go to jail over getting my lick back. I am going to unalive your motherfucking ass. And that actually was the thing that caused me and my twin flame to break up, because he had put his hands on me and I whooped his motherfucking ass. And there came a point where I almost could not stop. Like, in the moment that I was attacking him, I almost thought myself unable to stop attacking him. And I was like, yeah, bitch, you're going to have to go, because I'm going to end up in prison, because I'm a Scorpio and I can be very mild-tempered, but I can be very wild-tempered when I feel violated and I feel physically threatened, and I'm going to commit to putting an entire fatal foot up your motherfucking ass. So in order to keep my ass out of prison, yeah, you're gonna have to go because all the love in the world don't make you worth all of that. So for me, yeah, like that's gonna be a deal breaker because I know how violent I'm going to become as a result of somebody being violent with me. And because I don't trust myself to be in violent situations, I try to avoid violent situations by all means necessary because I know what I give up when it's time to come out on the Jerry Springer stage. So I just try to just chill and just keep my shit together. So for me, yeah, like I can't do I also can't say though that I wouldn't forgive it, but in the moment, things need to fall apart. Things need to become undone. You need to go your way. I need to totally go my way. And maybe at some point in time where I feel there's been enough time for you to really reflect on your shit, like we ain't getting back tomorrow, maybe 6 months from now, maybe a year from now, but there's going to have to be a time lapse, and it definitely going to have to be a breakdown so that you can go and evaluate what made you do what you do. And me giving you a time that I feel is appropriate, where I feel like you've had time to reflect, be introspective, gather yourself, and get your shit together. And then maybe, because I do understand that we're working all this shit out together. But I just hate the violence thing because I know it's such a vitriolic thing to even introduce into a relationship, and you just leave so many questions around the potential of that violence now in the mind of your partner who has to consider like, girl, like, will you take my life one day? Like, like how far will this go? So I hate when people introduce that violence because it can cause a breach in trust that can be unrecoverable. And if not recovered well, it could lead to no change behavior. But if you put your hands on somebody, you absolutely need to evaluate that. And if you want to be with someone who you've put your hands on, you need to resolve that and rectify that in a way that is completely visible to your partner, including allowing them to see that you're in therapy, that you are actually dealing with wherever this came from, that you're putting in the work to truly understand what you did, and you have the tools to better deal with your temper and your feelings, your anger, your impatience, whatever it is that you got a shortcoming in, baby. If you want to be with somebody, they deserve to see that on black and white, including those who perpetuate verbal and emotional abuse too. A perp, briefly, because I do have to tie this show up. What was the question again? Flaws, I think. Flaws. Where's your ratio when it comes to flaws?
My ratio with the flaws is I will not tolerate disrespect. That means putting your hands on me, and verbally as well. Like there's just certain things I won't tolerate. I can deal with a lot of things, but when I bring up something that's bothering me and you choose to ignore it, then then we're going to have problems because everybody has flaws, but the impact of the flaw is not equal to everything.
Yeah.
So depending on what the flaw is will depend on whether or not I'm willing to work with it or not. Because what I'm not going to do is raise a grown man. That's not happening. Yeah. And I will not be treated like you're going to raise me. That's not happening either. Because like you said, I come from a family who's known for their temper. And I refuse to put myself in a situation where I know I can't take you out of here and not regret it and be sitting in jail. I refuse to go down that road because it's uncalled for when I don't have to do it.
Amen. That part. Okay, so what is your attitude toward forgiving DV or forgiving infidelity? Or are you one of those people who have the capacity to get past something like that and to allow your partner to get past something like that, or no?
Oh, I can definitely forgive you, but you won't be with me. Because forgiveness does not mean that I stay in the situation.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is just me saying, I'm no longer going to carry this burden around with me anymore and allow it to impact me negatively. So I can still do that. I can still forgive you. I can speak to you when I see you on the street and leave you alone. Because I can love you at a distance.
Yeah.
And that's what it will be.
If he's willing to put in the work, are you open to reconciliation of the relationship? Like if he's in therapy, he speaks in a way where you can see he truly understands what he did and why he did it, and he's making the strides to become a better person. Like, could you be open to the better version of him?
Maybe. I don't, because like the whole thing is you're starting completely over again with me.
Yeah.
You're going to have to earn everything back.
Mm-hmm.
So that means I'm going to treat you like I never laid eyes on you before.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think that's fair. That's fair.
Me, I probably would say it probably would not be worth it in the end, because like rather than deal with somebody who has to go through those things, I can simply get somebody who's in a healthy enough space where putting their hands on somebody or feeling the need to go outside their relationship is not necessary. Because for one thing, you had plenty of opportunity to communicate how you were feeling with me. We could have, went our separate ways, and you could have gone and did what you were going to do. So I love me too much to settle. I'm not willing to settle trash, and that's trash for me.
Okay. So before we wrap this up, messy scenario.
Okay.
Back to Shaunie O'Neal, who allegedly had one more freak off session with her sugar baby, her tenderoni, a week before she walked down the aisle. Would you forgive your man if he did one more hoorah before walking down the aisle? Would you allow him to have an exception on his bachelor's night, which I feel like a lot of women know exactly what niggas be doing on a bachelor night? I just do not believe that no woman who knew and greenlit and ultimately allowed a man to have a bachelor's night actually believe that that man played fair on bachelor's night. I just don't believe that. I believe deep down, every motherfucking woman know that Yonik showed his ass. More than likely, he got that up out of him one last time. He did what he did. They got loose with a goose. Would you call off everything if your ninja got with the business on bachelor night? Sin. Can you hear me saying?
Let's say that again, baby.
I said, would you still walk down the aisle? Because Shaunie O'Neal apparently cheated allegedly on her new husband with her sneaky link a week before she walked down the aisle as one last rodeo. Would you still go forth with your marriage to your ideal man if you found out he showed his entire dick on bachelor night?
That's hard. He can't. If I found out, I would be incredibly hurt. I probably would postpone at that moment. I don't know if I can throw him totally away, because technically we had not, signed the papers and officially become one. I would be incredibly hurt. I don't think I could save face in that moment. I would need some time, so I probably would postpone. And I would let him know, hey, that was just disrespectful in the space of where it was about us. Even though you had your little bachelor party or whatever, you couldn't have you can't love me with a modicum of respect and then turn around and do that. I mean, you can love me all day, but that doesn't speak to the respect of me and what I am in your life and what I am about to be the next day or the next week or whatever. I don't think I could go on in that space. We would have to, take a step back for a moment, because if you do that, then what does just us signing a paper that's a license going to do with your character? Because it could very well sneak up.
Okay, a dreaming. If your man got down with the business 1 week before he walked down the aisle, your idealistic man been good before, plan on being good after. He made the exception on Bachelor's night to be with the ish. Are you still walking down the aisle?
That's a huge hell no for me, sir. I can admit that I'm a very selfish person. I don't share, baby. Not even a crumb, not a taste, not a little sample size either. I just couldn't. I think emotionally I could not do it, because it's the fact that you sat here and you waited until you took a chance to do that. How you committed to me, but you took out one little chance to say, you know what, let me just get one little hoorah out. Because now I'm like, what you been doing this entire relationship? Waiting to get your chance? And I just feel like I would feel dirty, and I would feel like I was stolen from. Like, you just, because I know I personally would not be doing that. I don't want to stripper at my party. I'm sorry. That's just me though. I don't get mad at people who do that. I just don't want that. Yeah. So if I agree to that, I must have been on some drugs or something.
Got it. So now we know, baby. A dreaming is drugged, honey. If she greenlit it, baby, something wasn't right, baby. Somebody put a Mickey in a drink or something. Okay.
If you come up on a heartbroken panel, like all the heartbroken, come up on the panel, talk, and I talk about my
that part. That part. Okay. Perp, are you still walking down the aisle if you found out that your ninja got down 1 week before on Bachelor's night?
Nope. And with me, I'm gonna disappear in your hand pots. You won't even see me. You won't even know I know until you go to that altar and find me not there.
You gonna ghost that man right at the altar, honey. Leave him right there, stupid in his foolishness. I know that's right.
Because he chose to ghost this morning, so I'm just, giving the same energy I was giving.
On that part, honey. Since we in the business of ghosting, honey, why not? Okay, so final question then. Should we get rid of Bachelor and Bachelorette night? Because is this low-key a concept that was created to excuse or permit tasteless behavior right before the ultimate spiritual and materialization of the covenant between two people? Should we just scrap the Bachelorette Bachelor night? Because what really is it in principle?
I don't know if we should scrap it, but there should be some rules and boundaries. Now, if you going out with your fellas, y'all going to the cigar bar, you may go to the titty bar, throw some hundreds around or 20s around, and me and my girls may go on a weekend to Jamaica and get massages or whatever. As long as boundaries are respected, have fun with your people. They're celebrating you in your season of getting ready to be a wife. Now, if y'all talking about bringing the strippers in and frucking and was she going to meet Dexter St. Jock for one more romp, then y'all not ready to walk down that aisle. I don't care how much you love it and adore. You all just have no respect for one another. I mean, you can have, because there have been people that have bachelorette and bachelor parties, and they've been spiritual where they've ended up, having, renting someplace or whatever and having a Bible study if that's what they want to do. You have other ones that go out and, do the town. But all that scandalous stuff, nah, you just not ready. I don't give a hell how you try to spin it. If you justify wanting to sleep with somebody, but then turn around and call this next the person that you're supposed to be intended to, your mate and your person, you just would not disrespect them in that way. And I'm old school in that. Have the fun, but the boundaries need to be respected, because if not, you already entering a season of disrespect before you even get to the altar. That's a problem. I'm telling you, people got character problems that are just more than flaws. That's character problems that you're not willing to address. You want to make certain things legal and be legalistic here, but then be wild and out of pocket here. Nah, you ain't got no respect for
y'all gonna make me be here for another hour, because see, I was gonna say to that, like, I mean, because what isn't it all disrespectful? Like a man spending his a man who's in a committed relationship, or whether married or not, spending his money on women he would sleep with, aka strippers. Like, I've always been curious about the psychology behind women who are okay with their man going to strip clubs, tossing household hard-earned money onto a bunch of women. He gonna give him a lap dance, gonna let pop pussy in his face, gonna do all this inappropriate stuff. And why is that compartmentalized? And what the difference between that? Because if you walked next door and saw that he was allowing the chick next door, who ain't a stripper, to make that money off him and dress nude and put on a song and dance for him in that way, it would then be considered cheating. Why is the strip club situation not? And I'm not saying I have a personal judgment about strip clubs or married people or not, but I'm just asking the question regarding, like, to your point, saying people have, like, we chop and dice the rules up in ways, but really, isn't it the same principle behind all of it? Like, why are you at the strip club? Like, why are you tossing money on, like, how you committed to me, but at the same time, like, you want me to be open to the fact that you're going to go to a spot with women that I know you're attracted to, and then you're going to help them to make a living with money you could be spending on a date night with me. Money that we could be pouring into a business. Money that can be going toward other meaningful places, family vacations. It could be going toward my motherfucking BBL, nigga. And you're going to be tossing coin and tossing shit up in the air for a bunch of hoes you want to sleep with. Like, what is really the tea? What is really that about? As a man who's in a committed relationship, whose job it is to affirm you're a woman, but isn't that disregarded if you're at the strip club? Isn't that affirmation, like, disrupted? I don't like, as women, y'all help me, like, because I'm always curious, you know, like, okay, like, because and this question is for the women who got a problem with cheating. They got a problem with open bedroom policy, but don't got a problem per se with the strip joint, unless a lot of women feel like that's the lesser of the two evils. No, we ain't gonna be doing no threesomes. No, we ain't gonna be having an open door policy. However, if you, like, in order to get your little bullshit scratched, in order for you to just, you know, in order to soothe you, I'll let you go to the strip club. If that keeps you from doing all the other ish. Like, is that what women's expectation is? If I let him go to the strip club, then he ain't gonna do the other stuff. That this is the lesser of the two evils. Because to me, I mean, it's all weird. I mean, like, it's not weird for the people who with all the ish. Like, no, like, he goes to the strip club, we go to the strip club, like, we completely comfortable being attracted to other people. I'm not threatened by his attraction. He ain't threatened by my attraction to other people. You know, we swing together, da 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 da. But this is, I'm always confused, particularly for the people who are against cheating and all of that, but they don't consider the strip club thing infidelity. They don't consider that to be a violation. Why is it not?
I think for some people, they consider it more like window shopping, and that they get the benefits of him being able to window shop, and then he comes home and then he's with the partner. To me, I don't know. That's in that territory of I don't know if I can F with that. I really don't know. Because for me, to be honest with you, if you want to go out there to the strip club and stuff, first of all, let's let's be real about what you're saying. You're telling me you're willing to take the risk of not coming home because we all know how strip clubs and clubs can pop off at any given moment, especially in certain areas. Certain areas, some strip clubs areas are rough as all get out.
Hole in the wall. Mm-hmm.
So you willing to risk your life and limb just so you can have somebody. It goes back to what I always said. I When I was younger and I went to the clubs and stuff, I was not one of those people that gave my money to the stripper because I'm like, I'll be darned if I'm giving you my money to take home to your partner.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, that's just not happening. I can be using my money on other things. And I was one of those people that just kind of like stayed off in the corner and observed. But I was like, don't come over here. Don't be grabbing up on me.
Hands
So,
off, and you can look, but you cannot touch.
So I just don't see. To me, it just don't make sense for me. Like I'm just like, okay, you doing all that for what? Because like if it's really on those terms, then why am I with you? If you gotta go out and seek entertainment other places.
Yeah, because why you can't
Then
pay
what
me?
do we do?
Why you can't pay me to shake my ass at home?
Thank you.
I can shake my ass. I can get up in a thong. I can bounce these titties around. I can. I can. Oh, we can put a pole up in the guest bedroom. I mean, you act like I can't do these things. I can put on the. I can give you a different woman, honey. We can keep it. We can keep the coin all in the family, honey. Okay, I can put these shows. I can put these burlesque shows on for you. Because I bet you that you wouldn't be okay. Because see, it'd be the double standard for me too. Because these men don't be comfortable with their women's though, going down to the Jack in the Box and going down there to the male strip joints, knowing what the tea gonna be. But like they'll see it the way that I'm seeing it from the women's side. Like this is a problem, but I just feel like the whole bachelorette thing. It's like, what are we really celebrating? Like, because it almost feels like the bachelorette is birthed in this idea that, and maybe it was supposed to be a gag. Maybe bachelorette parties were like a gag to being married because it placated to this old idea that, okay, you about to be a ball and chain now. You're going to have a ball and chain now. You about to be locked down. So this was like the last hoorah. But because bachelorette and bachelor parties have also like a lot of disrespectful-ish has happened, I just feel like, look, people better stop playing because like once again, even the most well-meaning people, baby, fall weak. And I don't feel like we should just be so casual all around the apple. Like if you trying to be faithful, just go be faithful, baby. Like don't even play around with the unfaithfulness. If you know how you set up, if you know like what the combination of liquor and the right set of circumstances will put you in a situation, honey, like just stay away from it. Like just don't. But I don't know. It's interesting to me. All right, I gotta go, y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all for being up here dreaming, perps, seeing. This was an amazing show.
This was fun.
Yes, this was amazing.
Yes, thank you for having a conversation as usual and happy baby.
Absolutely.
And for being your messy self, because you try to get into the midst of the mess.
Of course, honey. Thank y'all. I love y'all.
Love you too. Bye.
All right, y'all. That was our dreaming, hun. She had to come up here and speak to us about the interracial, honey. Good stuff. Like I said, I'm kind of out of the whole I don't know. I'm kind of out of the celebrity whole commentary thing. So I just be outsourcing for stuff that really makes me want to talk now. Some of these people I want to gag and roast, though. We will probably be roasting the hell out of Sexy Red. Sexy Red just really done got on my last nerve. I just don't even understand no more. And I think I'm just gonna have to like formally drag the living out of her motherfucking ass. So please be expecting get the God of here sexy red video, girl. Because I just can't. Oh God, this can't. And I'm trying. I've been trying with sex. I'm like, okay, let me just. Let me work on me first. I might be the problem. Let me just deal. Let me see if I can fit this into my brain some way, girl. Let me just, I always address me first. When I got a problem with other people, I be like, hold on, let me make sure that it's just not me being whatever, child. And then when I have tried to find the space and the place and tried to just find a shelf space to accommodate the personality, baby, and it's just a no-go, honey. It just ain't enough space in this motherfucker for your ass. Then it's, time to wage war. Can you review the Met Gala? Oh, I sure can, Joshua. I can do that as a requested video. What's going on, Miss Rochelle? Hey, boo, kiss left cheek, right cheek. Okay, catch me, play, child. We got into it, honey. Edmund says, great combo for you. I'm sick of her, period. Dirty Red. She is beyond garbage. Please snatch her up. Baby, we gonna get into it, honey. So be prepared for a sexy red drag down, girl. And I'm probably gonna give up the ghost, honey. It's gonna be a classic CTV drag of the damn century, honey. I'm just gonna get it all out of my spirit, honey. Okay. So you guys, thumbs up. Please tell a friend of a friend of a friend about the platform. Please share the links to the videos on your Facebook, on your MySpace, wherever it is you have community at. If you enjoyed yourself, girl, if you got your life, this was a key. This was amazing. If you learned something, if you had a great time, show the king some love over on Miss Cash App, $Consciouztv, spelled just like it is right now. Or hit a nigga up on paypal.me/Consciouztv, spelled just like it is right now on the platform. All requested videos, leave them in the comment sections. Hit me on with emails, DMs, etc. Tell me what you want to see. And hope you guys have a prosperous Wednesday. And I will see you guys on tomorrow. Bye.